I love climbing. Bouldering's never really been my thing. I like to get high up on mountains and kind of walk ridge lines. I just love the freedom of it, and just the fact that there's no real competition involved against yourself. You're just kind of out there exploring, seeing new places. That's where you feel most alive, and you're just doing whatever you want to do. My name's Casey Fulton. I'm from Huntington Beach, California. The first thing the paramedics said was like, shit, I don't know what we're going to do. So I was working at a bar up in Whitefish, Montana, and I picked up a keg of beer to move into an elevator, and I got halfway across with this keg, and the brake on the elevator snapped, and the elevator came crashing down. So if you go to step into an elevator and you see that little half-inch gap, that's where my leg was stuck, and I was upside down, and my tibia and fibula were perpendicular to that gap, and it caused it to stop. And then I spent an hour and a half dangling upside down in an elevator shaft. Where the elevator hit my leg, it broke the bone into 23 pieces. And then where the elevator actually made contact, that inch and a half dissolved into dust. Eventually, I unbolted the side of the elevator, pulled the kegs out. These guys were able to lift the elevator from below, and they pulled me out. The reason I didn't lose my leg is the vascular system was still intact. If it would have been a millimeter either way, I would have bled out. But that didn't happen. When the elevator hit my leg, it's still broken in 5 places. I got an intradermal nail that goes through the top of the knee to the bottom, and it's screwed in place. After 6 months, it was still just as broken as before, so they told me to start walking on it to cause the bone ends to hit each other, so they would cause stimulation. It worked for 18 of the fractures, 5 of them it didn't work out for. The nerve that lifts the foot up and down, the tibialis anterior, got cut, so we're kind of waiting for that to reconnect. So the sports I was really into were kayaking, whitewater kayaking, climbing, mountaineering, skiing, trail running, and ultras. I can't really run right now because my foot doesn't have the nerve to lift up, but it does have the pressure to push down, so I can still climb, just not at the level I was able to at one point in time. The biggest problem with the broken leg is the nerve not being able to lift up or go left or right. So if a move involves going straight up, it's fine. So it's worked out all right. And then just the lack of flexibility in the foot. I only have 20 degrees of range of motion in the ankle right now. I moved to Montana to ski every day. And hopefully I'll be able to ski again.
Gnarly backyard run.
They wanted to amputate my leg, and I was conscious on the operating table when they literally had this conversation, do we amputate above or below the leg? And I shot up, and my exact quote was, if you could put a man on the moon, you could sew my fucking leg back on. And the whole reason for that is, I don't care about anything else. Money, I don't care about it. I'd rather do stuff outside because it's what makes me happy.
Hi,
we got this bike. This is the second iteration of a 3-wheeled recumbent. We wanted to go more places and do more things, and so we needed to have a tandem. My name is Tom Hayes. I'm Chris Hayes' father. Chris was an extremely active child, played a lot of sports. When Chris was 11, on January 5th, 2001, which was a Friday, he got sick. His illness, what occurred was he got a staph infection in his trachea, and it blocked his air supply. He went into respiratory arrest and cardiac arrest, was rushed to the hospital, had to be basically paddled back to life. In that time frame, he suffered an anoxic brain injury. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, the area of his brain that was damaged was the area that coordinates motor skills. It affected all activity, speech, everything. He's the same cocky little shit he was before he got sick. It's just that he can't control all the muscles. I was in Minneapolis one time on business and stopped into the bike shop, talked about Chris's situation, And long story short, we ended up buying 2 of them. It's allowed us to do a lot of things as a family that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do. I'm a pretty proud father, and we try to do as much as we can together. And, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, they have great admiration for me in what I do with Chris. The fact is, you know, he's the hero in all this. None of us have ever had to walk a mile in his shoes. And he's been in that chair since he was 11, and he just celebrated his 26th birthday. And for an active young man, that's been a tough number of years. And he's never complained about it. And that's amazing.